Don't walk away. God is saying stay. There are moments in life when the urge to leave, to turn away, to abandon the place where you now stand feels overwhelming. Maybe you are exhausted. Maybe you are heartbroken. Maybe you feel unseen, unheard, or unappreciated. You may be telling yourself that walking away is the only way to protect your soul from more pain. Yet in the silence of your spirit, there is a message echoing louder than the noise of doubt. Don't walk away, stay. Because staying, even when it hurts, even when it feels unbearable, may be the exact step that transforms everything in your life. This message is not accidental. You are hearing this because it is meant for you right now, at this exact crossroad. Before we go deeper, I want you to promise yourself to stay with this video until the very end. Because sometimes the very clarity we are seeking only reveals itself when we don't give up too soon. And if you feel this message touching you in some way, I encourage you to write in the comments your warmest wishes and the number 77. That simple act of expression is a form of energy release. It symbolizes wishes coming true, it ignites movement in the unseen, and it aligns you with the flow of the universe. Remember, when you release your wish with intention, it doesn't just vanish into nothingness, it circulates, it vibrates, it echoes back to you multiplied. Now let's return to the weight of this calling. Don't walk away. God is saying stay. Sometimes staying doesn't mean staying silent. Sometimes staying doesn't mean enduring abuse or mistreatment. Staying means not abandoning the assignment placed in your hands, not abandoning the growth that is being demanded from you, not abandoning the deeper purpose that is unfolding in this chapter of your story. Walking away can seem like the easier path because it ends the tension. It stops the battle. It closes the door. But God is telling you that if you walk away now, you might walk away right before the miracle, right before the breakthrough, right before the seed hidden in the soil pushes through to the surface. Think of how many people in history, in your own community, even in your own family, gave up too early. They almost reached the treasure buried beneath their struggle, but they left just before their reward arrived. And now think of the ones who stayed. Think of the ones who endured longer, who held on even when their hearts were trembling, and how their perseverance became the very reason they experienced transformation. To stay doesn't mean you feel strong every day. To stay doesn't mean you aren't hurting. To stay doesn't mean you won't cry at night. It simply means you understand that leaving isn't the answer, because something greater is still being built where you stand. Staying might mean staying in the process of healing, even when it feels slow. Staying might mean staying in the relationship where love is real, but challenges are testing your patience. Staying might mean staying committed to the dream you have been nurturing for years, even though it hasn't bloomed yet. Staying might mean staying faithful to yourself, refusing to abandon your dignity, your values, your soul's voice. When God says stay, it is because He knows that leaving would rob you of the victory that is almost ready to meet you. Sometimes, staying is an act of radical courage. It is easier to walk away when pain is heavy, but it is braver to stay when your spirit knows this is where your growth is waiting. You may feel like your patience has run out. You may feel like the road ahead is endless and dark, but the truth is, the path is not endless. The darkness is not permanent. You have to remind yourself that storms always pass. They always pass. And the very fact that you are watching this, that your eyes are here, your ears are here, your heart is here, means that your spirit has been searching for confirmation. This is that confirmation. Don't walk away. God is saying, stay. When you stay, you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find resilience where you thought there was only weakness. You uncover faith where you thought there was only despair. You feel hope rise again where you thought the flame had died. Staying doesn't just change the outcome, it changes you. And in the end, that is the real miracle, that you emerge stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more aligned with who you are meant to be. The discomfort you are experiencing is not punishment, it is preparation. The waiting you are enduring is not wasted, it is working for your highest good. Every moment you choose to stay, you are allowing your soul to grow roots that will make you unshakable when the winds of life come again. And perhaps the greatest reason to stay is this: when God tells you to stay, it means He has already gone ahead into your future and prepared something worth staying for. You may not see it yet, you may not feel it yet, but it is already set in motion. Your task is to hold your ground until it arrives. Do not let doubt, fear, or exhaustion trick you into forfeiting your blessing. The soil feels heavy because something is sprouting beneath it. The night feels long because dawn is coming. The silence feels painful because answers are forming in the unseen. Do not walk away. Stay, and you will see the reason revealed in due time. There comes a point in every soul's journey where leaving feels like freedom, yet in truth, it is only an escape. Escape does not heal. Escape does not transform. Escape only delays the lesson that life is determined to teach you. The voice within that says stay is not trying to chain you. It is trying to free you in the most profound way, by guiding you through the fire instead of around it. You cannot grow if you only walk around the flame. You grow when you walk through it, emerge from it, and realize it no longer consumes you. That is why you are being asked to remain, to not abandon this process, this season, this sacred struggle. Because what looks like suffering is in fact the birth of your next self. Staying is not about ignoring your pain. It is about facing it head on, allowing it to teach you, shape you, and make you ready for what is coming. The pain you feel today is the breaking of a shell that no longer fits you. You are being stretched, and that stretching hurts, but if you run from it, you will remain the same size when your destiny is asking you to expand. When you stay, you let the pain do its work. You let it carve away what no longer belongs in your heart. You let it prepare room for blessings that are bigger than the life you have now. If you walk away, the pain doesn't end. It only follows you into the next place. But when you stay, the pain transforms. It becomes strength. It becomes wisdom. It becomes testimony. Think about the times in your past when you wanted to leave, when you thought you couldn't endure anymore. Yet you stayed, even if only for one more day. Looking back now, don't you see how those very days shaped you? Don't you see how that choice gave you endurance that now lives inside you? You may not have seen the purpose in the moment, but now you can recognize it. Staying made you who you are. And in the same way, this moment you are facing now is another defining moment. If you stay, your future self will look back and thank you. Your future self will whisper, "I am proud of you for not quitting, for not abandoning me before I was ready to be born." Many people misunderstand staying. They think it means passivity, resignation, or surrender to suffering. But staying is active. It is resistance. It is the bold refusal to let despair dictate your choices. It is standing your ground and saying, "I am not done here yet. My story is not finished in this place." Staying is not weakness. It is defiance against the forces that want you to quit. Every time you choose to stay, You are declaring that hope still has a place in your life, that faith still has authority over your fears, that the promise planted in you will not be abandoned halfway. And here is something you may not realize. By staying, you are not only saving yourself, you are influencing countless others. People are watching you, even those you don't know are watching. They see how you endure, how you hold on, how you remain when others would have left. And your courage becomes their courage. Your endurance becomes their example. Without saying a word, you give them permission to hope, to fight, to stay in their own struggles. That is the ripple effect of your choice. When God says stay, He is also saying that your staying is bigger than you. Your decision to stay is carrying someone else too. So breathe. Even if the storm rages, even if your heart aches, even if your hands feel tired, take one more breath and remain. Because everything you are going through is not without meaning. It is preparing you, but it is also preparing something beyond you. Do not underestimate the significance of your endurance. Do not underestimate the unseen shifts that are happening right now, because you are still standing. The world may not applaud your staying. The world may not even notice. But heaven notices. Your soul notices. And one day when the harvest finally comes, you will notice too. Sometimes the hardest thing about staying is that it feels invisible. Nobody applauds you for showing up one more day. Nobody celebrates you for quietly holding yourself together in the silence of your own mind. You don't get recognition for simply not quitting. And yet, those invisible choices are the ones that change everything. The world only sees the moment of triumph, but it does not see the countless days when you stayed, even though no one noticed. And maybe that is why this calling feels so difficult, because it is asking you to remain faithful in the unseen, to keep walking when no spotlight shines, to endure when there is no applause. But remember this, just because the world doesn't see your staying does not mean it is wasted. Every hidden act of faith builds a foundation that cannot be shaken. Staying does not mean pretending you are not tired. It does not mean silencing your questions. It means carrying them with you into the unknown, trusting that answers will come, trusting that clarity will unfold in time. It is okay to say, I don't understand why I must still be here. It is okay to admit that you feel weary. Staying is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to live through it with courage. You are not required to have it all figured out right now. You are only required to not abandon yourself in the middle of the process. Sometimes all staying looks like is whispering to yourself, one more day, just one more step. I will not walk away today. When you stay, the very ground beneath you begins to shift. You cannot always see it, but your choice is like a seed pressed into the soil. For a long time, the soil looks empty. Nothing appears to change. And then, without warning, something small breaks through, a sign that life has been forming in secret all along. That is what your staying does. It nurtures what is hidden until the time is right for it to rise. If you leave too soon, you abandon the seed before it blooms. But if you remain, the breakthrough comes. Not in your timing, not according to your impatience, but exactly when it is meant to arrive. The waiting is not in vain. The staying is not in vain. The harvest is on its way. Sometimes the voice that tells you to walk away is not really your own. It is the echo of disappointment, the whisper of fear, the residue of wounds you've carried. Fear tells you that staying is dangerous. Pain tells you that staying will only bring more suffering. But listen deeper. Beneath the noise of fear and pain, there is another voice, It is steady, gentle, and certain. It tells you that this is not the end, that the heaviness you feel now is not forever, that staying will reveal what walking away never could. That voice is the one to trust. That voice is why you are still here. That voice is why you are hearing this message in this moment. Think of the countless times people walked away too soon, from relationships that could have healed, from dreams that were almost ready to manifest, from battles they were about to win. They let exhaustion speak louder than purpose, and they forfeited the very blessing that was forming in front of them. But you don't have to repeat that story. You can choose differently. You can choose to stay, even when your emotions tell you otherwise. You can choose to trust that staying is not weakness, but strength in disguise. You can choose to stand when everything inside you is begging to run. That is where transformation happens, not in the ease of escape, but in the courage of remaining. And so I remind you again, don't walk away. Stay in the unfolding. Stay in the process. Stay in the discomfort. Because what is waiting for you on the other side is greater than the weight you are carrying now. It will not always be this hard. It will not always be this heavy. The day will come when you look back on this exact season and realize that staying was the decision that changed your entire life. When the weight of staying feels unbearable, remember that you are not being asked to carry it all at once. You are only being asked to carry this moment. The human heart breaks when it tries to imagine a lifetime of endurance. But peace comes when you realize you don't need to survive the whole journey in one breath. You only need to breathe through this moment, and then the next. Staying becomes possible when you stop demanding perfection from yourself, and instead allow yourself to simply remain here, one step, one choice, one heartbeat at a time. This is how mountains are climbed, not by leaping to the summit, but by placing one foot in front of the other, over and over, until suddenly the peak is beneath your feet. There will be days when your spirit is strong and staying feels natural, and there will be days when everything in you wants to give up. On those days, remember that the act of staying is not always grand or dramatic. Sometimes staying is as quiet as opening your eyes in the morning and deciding not to quit today. Sometimes staying is whispering a prayer when you have no words left. Sometimes staying is letting tears fall without shame, trusting that they are watering the soil of your future. Every small act of staying is powerful. Every small act of staying matters. And even when it feels like nothing is happening, something is always shifting because you chose not to walk away. The truth is, walking away offers an illusion of relief. For a moment, it feels lighter. For a moment, it feels free. But that freedom is empty because it leaves the deeper work unfinished. Staying is heavier in the beginning, but lighter in the end. Walking away is lighter in the beginning, but heavier in the end. That is why this message is urging you not to leave, because the heaviness you feel now will not last forever. It is the kind of weight that strengthens you, the kind of weight that will eventually fall away, leaving you stronger than before. Walking away might give you comfort for a season, but staying will give you transformation for a lifetime. And here is something you need to hear. Staying does not mean standing still. Staying is not stagnation. It is active participation in the process of becoming. It is the daily choice to engage, to learn, to stretch, to wrestle with the questions and the pain until they produce clarity and wisdom. It is choosing not to abandon the journey, even when you don't yet see the destination. That choice alone is growth. That choice alone is victory. You are not stuck because you stayed. You are building because you stayed. You are being shaped because you stayed. You are becoming more of yourself because you stayed. Staying is movement, even when it feels motionless. You may wonder, how much longer must I stay? The answer is, until the staying has done its work. Until the lessons you need are carved into your soul. Until the strength you require for the next season is fully alive within you. Until the blessing meant for you has unfolded into your hands. You cannot measure it by clocks or calendars, because growth does not move according to human schedules. It moves according to readiness. And the very fact that you are still here, that you haven't walked away, means you are closer now than you have ever been. You are not waiting in vain. You are waiting on something real, something holy, something worth every moment of endurance. So let this message reach the places in you that feel tired, that feel hopeless, that feel like leaving would be easier. This is not your ending. This is not the time to walk away. This is the time to stand firm, to remain rooted, to let the winds blow and still not break. Because storms always pass, darkness always lifts. And when it does, you will be grateful that you stayed long enough to see the light return. There is a hidden strength in you that only reveals itself when you stay through the storm. You may not believe it now, but you are stronger than you think. Strength is not proven in moments of ease. It is revealed when every fiber of your being wants to quit, yet something in you whispers, "Not yet." Hold on a little longer. That whisper is not weakness, it is power. It is the quiet fire of your spirit that refuses to be extinguished. If you had no strength left, you would not even be here listening. The fact that you are still here proves that something within you is unshakable, even if you don't feel it. Staying is how that strength comes alive. So often people confuse staying with being trapped. They think remaining means you are powerless, stuck, unable to move. But the truth is, staying is a choice. You are choosing not to run. You are choosing not to abandon yourself. You are choosing not to let fear decide your future. That is not weakness. That is authority. When you walk away, you are letting the struggle control you. But when you stay, you are telling the struggle it cannot define you. You are reclaiming your voice. You are reclaiming your ground. And in doing so, you rise above what tried to break you. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it hurts. But everything that is meaningful in life carries difficulty. The most beautiful things are born out of struggle. A diamond is only created under immense pressure. A pearl is formed through irritation and endurance. A tree grows roots only when the soil resists. And your soul is no different. The pressure you feel is not here to destroy you. It is here to refine you. If you walk away, you miss the chance to become the diamond, the pearl, the rooted tree. But if you stay, you will look back one day and realize that what felt like breaking was actually shaping. It is in the staying that clarity comes. Right now, confusion might cloud your vision. You may not understand why you are still here, why nothing seems to be moving, why the pain hasn't yet lifted. But staying allows the fog to clear. Staying gives space for perspective to emerge. You cannot see clearly while you are running. But when you remain long enough, answers begin to unfold, truths reveal themselves, and the pieces start to connect. Walking away would rob you of that revelation. Staying ensures you live long enough to witness it. There is also something profoundly healing about staying. When you stay, you face the wounds instead of hiding from them. You give yourself permission to process, to grieve, to feel, to grow. Walking away only buries the wound deeper, but buried wounds always resurface. Staying means allowing the wound to be exposed to light, and light is what heals. It may not happen in one day, it may not happen in 1 year, but every day you remain, healing seeps deeper into your being. And one day, you wake up and realize that the pain no longer has the same power over you. That is the gift staying brings. So do not despise this season. Do not curse the place where you are standing. It may feel barren now, but it is sacred ground. It is the place where your courage is being tested, where your faith is being stretched, where your character is being built. Leaving would only transport you to another barren place, because the real issue is not the location but the lesson. Staying allows you to complete the lesson. And once the lesson is complete, the barren ground blossoms. What looked empty becomes fruitful. What felt like despair becomes destiny. What seemed meaningless becomes the very foundation of your story. One of the greatest illusions in life is that leaving will erase the pain, but walking away rarely erases anything. It only postpones it. Wherever you go, the unresolved lesson follows. You may find temporary relief, a fleeting silence from the struggle, but soon the same patterns rise again in a new form. That is why you are being asked to stay, not because you must endure suffering forever, but because this is the place where the cycle ends. This is the ground where you break free. By staying, you are refusing to run from the lesson. You are refusing to start the same story over again. You are choosing to finish it here, once and for all, so that you can walk into your future free. It takes incredible courage to remain when your mind tells you to flee. But courage has never been the absence of fear. It has always been the ability to act in spite of it. Staying is not easy. It demands a strength that surprises even you. But that strength is already inside you, waiting to be awakened. Each time you choose to remain, that strength grows. Each time you resist the temptation to give up, you carve a deeper resilience into your soul. One day, you will notice that what once shook you no longer controls you. That is the transformation staying brings. Not overnight, not without struggle, but with undeniable certainty. Consider this. Staying gives you the chance to witness your own becoming. Too often, people walk away right before they would have seen themselves in a new light. They walk away before they realize how far they have come. They walk away before they see that the weight they carried has made them unrecognizably strong. If you stay, you will witness your own evolution. You will see how the version of you who wanted to quit became the version of you who rose. You will see how your scars became symbols of survival. And you will see that staying did not just change your circumstances. It changed you into someone you never thought you could be. There is also something sacred about remaining present in your season, even when it feels unbearable. Because in your presence, you discover presence itself, the awareness of now. You stop running from the moment. You stop chasing a different tomorrow. And in that awareness, healing begins. Staying roots you in the present, and the present is the only place where true change can happen. If you are always running to the next place, you never give the present a chance to transform you. But when you stay, you open the door for life to meet you where you are. You open the door for peace to enter. You open the door for clarity to unfold. You may not realize it yet, but staying is also teaching you trust. Not just trust in yourself, but trust in the unseen. Trust that you are not forgotten. Trust that this struggle is not meaningless. Trust that what feels like delay is actually alignment. It is in the staying that trust is forged, because trust cannot grow in constant escape. Trust grows when you remain through uncertainty and still believe there is purpose in the silence. Every moment you choose to stay, you are planting trust deeper in your soul. And that trust will carry you far beyond this season, into every chapter that follows. So hold on. Even if your grip is trembling, even if your faith feels fragile, even if your heart feels weary, hold on, because you are closer than you know. Every moment of staying is bringing you nearer to the breakthrough, even if you can't see it yet. The silence does not mean absence. The waiting does not mean neglect. The heaviness does not mean hopelessness. These are only signs that something is forming, that something is preparing to be revealed. And the only way you will see it is if you do not walk away. Stay, and let the unseen finish its work. What you must understand is that staying is not just about surviving this moment. It is about unlocking the future that depends on it. Every step you take now is connected to something greater that you cannot yet see. There are doors waiting to open for you, but they require the key of perseverance. There are blessings prepared for you, but they require the soil of endurance. There are people who will one day be touched by your story, but they cannot receive that light if you quit now. Staying is not just about you. It is about the ripple effect of your life. Your choice to remain is shaping a destiny that reaches far beyond your imagination. When you stay, you are telling the universe that you are ready to meet what has been waiting for you. You are declaring that you are willing to walk through the fire so that you can emerge refined. You are saying, I am not afraid to face this because I trust there is more on the other side. And when you make that declaration, things begin to shift. You may not notice it right away, but energies align, strength gathers, clarity grows, and the very ground beneath you begins to change. Staying is not passive. It is an invitation to transformation. It is the turning point where endings become beginnings. There will still be days when staying feels like breaking. There will still be nights when the silence feels unbearable. But even in those moments, remind yourself that feelings are not final. Just because today feels heavy does not mean tomorrow will. Just because you feel empty now does not mean you are. Emotions shift like weather. They pass through, they come and go. But your decision to stay is deeper than a feeling. It is rooted in something eternal, something unshakable, something that cannot be erased by a storm. That is why you must hold on, even when the feelings scream at you to run. And as you continue to remain, something extraordinary happens. Staying begins to transform into peace. At first, it feels like endurance, like a fight, like survival. But slowly, staying softens into surrender. Not surrender to defeat, but surrender to trust. You begin to see that you don't need to control everything. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to remain open, present, willing. And in that openness, peace begins to flow in ways you never expected. The very place that once felt like a prison becomes the place where you find freedom. The very process that once felt unbearable becomes the process that gives you life. This is why you must not walk away. Because walking away would cut off the story before the best part arrives. Walking away would silence the song before the chorus begins. Walking away would rob you of the peace, the strength, the clarity, the blessing that is waiting just ahead. You are closer than you think. Every day you stay, you are moving closer still. Do not let weariness convince you otherwise. Do not let fear talk you out of your future. You have already endured so much. Why give it all away now? You have already come this far. Why quit before you see what all of it was for? So stand, even if your knees shake. Stay, even if your heart trembles. Hold on, even if your grip feels weak. Because what is coming is worth every moment of endurance. You are being shaped, refined, prepared, and strengthened for it right now. Do not walk away. God is saying stay. And when you stay long enough, you will look back and realize that this was not the season that broke you. This was the season that made you. You have reached the end of this message, but the truth it carries is only the beginning for you. Every word has been leading you to this reminder: don't walk away. Stay. Not because staying is easy, but because it is sacred. Not because the road is smooth, but because the destination is worth every step. You are standing at a turning point, and your choice to remain will be the reason everything shifts. So breathe. Take this moment as a sign that you are exactly where you need to be. Hold on just a little longer. Trust that you are not forgotten, that your endurance is not wasted, and that your staying is not in vain. One day, very soon, you will see why you were asked to remain, and in that moment, all the weight you carried will transform into strength, all the tears you cried will become testimony, and all the nights you endured will make the morning shine brighter than you ever imagined. Don't walk away, stay. The breakthrough is closer than you think. There are moments in life when the waiting feels endless, when every day seems to mirror the one before it, and you wonder if anything will ever change. But hidden inside those long stretches of stillness is a quiet preparation. Every second you choose to remain is shaping you, even if you cannot see it. Transformation is rarely loud. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it happens in silence, in ordinary days that feel like nothing is moving. But deep inside, the roots are growing, the foundation is strengthening, the unseen is arranging. That is why staying matters. It is in the unnoticed days that the greatest shifts are born. You may think nothing is happening, but look closely at yourself. You are not who you were when this journey began. You have endured things you once thought would break you. You have faced nights of silence and still chosen to rise again in the morning. You have wrestled with doubt, and yet you are still here. That is growth. That is strength. That is evidence that staying is already working within you. Do not measure your progress only by what you see on the outside. The deepest progress is often invisible until suddenly it reveals itself all at once. Staying is also a declaration of self-worth. When you refuse to walk away from yourself, you are saying, "I am worth the time it takes to heal. I am worth the effort it takes to grow. I am worth the patience it takes to see this through." Too often, people abandon themselves. They quit on their own hearts, their own dreams, their own healing. But you are choosing differently. You are choosing to stay with yourself. And that is one of the greatest acts of love you can ever give, to refuse to abandon the person you are becoming. So let this be your reminder. Your staying is not weakness, it is victory. Every moment you remain, you are winning battles you may not even realize are being fought. You are disarming fear, you are silencing doubt, you are breaking cycles, and you are stepping into a future that is waiting for you to arrive whole, ready, and unshakable. Do not give that up now. Do not walk away. Stay. Because what is coming will prove that every moment of endurance was worth it. This is your sign. You didn't hear this by accident. You are being asked to stay, even when it feels impossible, because you are closer than you know. Don't let the weight convince you to leave right before the miracle arrives. Hold on, remain, stay. Soon, you will see why every moment mattered,